What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Inflation is spooking economies around the world, but while core inflation in Taiwan isn't as high as other countries, the pace of food inflation is the second highest in Asia. Our reporter James Chater looks at why, when it comes to food, prices in Taiwan are under such pressure.
Volunteers at this Taipei workshop are packing happy boxes, government-subsidized lunches for those in Taiwan struggling with rapidly rising food prices.
现在的外面的物价其实是很恐怖的也就是说呢，他也希望更多的民众呢不要因为通膨的压力然后一直买到外面很贵的便当。
At a price of only $2, these happy boxes have been offered in more than 70 locations across Taiwan since mid-June. It's part of the Agricultural Bureau's Zero Hunger Plan as food inflation skyrockets. With the cost of an average set lunch, a staple meal for Taiwanese, now nearly double that of a happy box, the subsidized lunchboxes are even distributed to neighborhoods with high numbers of poorer elderly people.
那疫情期间呢，有的家里确诊，那必须减少收入，那又要多支出的话，这个生活上就会比较拮据。
Core inflation in Taiwan is running at a 10-year high. And while that's on the lower end for Asian countries, Taiwan's food inflation rate of 6.9% is currently the second highest in the region. Taiwan is caught in a perfect food inflation storm. The pandemic and now war in Ukraine is putting pressure on food prices everywhere. But in Taiwan specifically, all that's made worse by a lack of self-sufficiency in the products which form the basis of the diet here. Taiwan imports key commodities like wheat and soybeans, leaving food prices largely at the mercy of international forces.
We're talking about the self-sufficiency ratio of, for example, 0.1% for wheat, 0.2% for soybeans, and 3% for corn here. So this means that most of these products are actually supported by global production. And if we are seeing a heavy fluctuation in international price, and of course it will also affect prices in Taiwan.
Like many other places in Taiwan, the menu board of Chen Weiting's family restaurant reflects that more expensive reality. They recently had to raise prices for the first time in 5 years.
有些人是以为我们已经涨过了，然后他就会说：“哎，怎么又再涨一次？”这样，然后我们就还蛮无奈的，就是说我们只有涨一次而已，而且其他人已经涨2、3次了，对，我们只有涨一次而已，所以就有点委屈。
TaiwanPlus asked both Taiwan's Agricultural Council and Economic Ministry how else they plan to tackle Taiwan's rampant food inflation, but did not receive a response. The Happy Boxes project will run at least until the end of the year, a small but welcome respite from the bitter taste of rising food prices. Klein Wang and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Weather Bureau says that May this year had the least amount of sunshine of any May on record. On average, the island saw 3 fewer hours of sunshine per day during the month. It was also the coolest May in over 20 years. Forecasters say that the unseasonable weather is at an end and that the country could see 3 to 4 typhoons make landfall in the second half of the year. After a decade of construction, the striking Taipei Performing Arts Center will finally open in Taiwan's capital this week. The opening performance is a Taiwanese opera by one of the country's most famous troupes. Louise Watt reports.
This iconic Taiwanese opera has a new stage. It's kicking off the very first season of a new cultural landmark. The Taipei Performing Arts Center has taken 10 years to build, and backers hope it will draw attention not just for how it looks, but also for what goes on inside. One of Taiwan's most renowned opera troupes, the Minghua Yuan Arts and Culture Group, will be performing their best-known opera, The 8 Immortals of Penglai, Zhongli of Han, starting on July the 2nd. It's a demanding show to prepare for.
很特殊的规定叫什么？每一个演员，主角的演员最少要背2个角色。
The opera tells the story of a Chinese mythological figure, Han Zhongli, a general of the Han dynasty. and his journey to becoming an immortal. The general is played by Sun Cui-feng, an actress known for playing male roles in such operas. But she shares this role with her daughter.
招前打头阵我压后面，所以那前后的这个戏份跟剧情都因为我们各自的优点，所以呢各自有发挥的空间。
The troupe has been going for 90 years, and with mother and daughter now sharing the main character, audiences will see the opera's heritage being passed on to another generation, in a setting built for the future. Chris Ma and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
The world's first museum about menstruation has opened in Taipei. The Red House has been set up by the not-for-profit advocacy group With Red. One of the group's main aims is to tackle the lack of access to menstrual products. With Red founder Vivi Lin says she hopes the museum will also help to eliminate the stigma surrounding periods.
It's basically, period has been a forbidden topic. We spent like 3-5 years and then we've seen a huge progress already happening here in Taiwan. We've seen a lot of different local governments having different policies related to period equity. So I think that's a very optimistic kind of situation. Currently, our service is around whole Taiwan. So every single city and counties in Taiwan have our service team, and we're servicing more than 500 different teenagers suffering from period poverty. We're cooperating with more than hundreds of schools coming from primary schools to universities to promote menstrual education.
Scientists are turning to new technology to save a coral reef in Indonesia. As Jean Van Trieste reports, the AI program may soon help other reefs around the world too.
A healthy coral reef is a noisy place. The bustle of underwater life makes a loud crackling, not unlike a campfire. In all that noise is information about how the reef is doing, but it's hard for the human ear to interpret. That's where technology can help. Scientists are using underwater microphones to record a reef in Indonesia. They then feed the sounds into an AI system that can analyze them. The AI gauges how healthy the reef is by comparing its sounds to the quieter sounds of a sick reef. The results are 92% accurate.
We calculate a load of different measures from these recordings, and then we present these measures to the AI, and it finds those patterns and relationships between those measures that us as a human are just too complex for us to ever recognize. And once it's found these, it's able to then repeat this when we give it new recordings.
It's not just that AI is better at analyzing the data, it can also analyze a lot of it, months' worth of recordings, quickly. Local marine biologists are excited about the possibilities.
Dengan kehadiran alat ini, saya yakin bisa membantu bagaimana mengefisiensikan waktu, efisiensi sumber daya manusia, dan efisiensi biaya terhadap pemantauan terumbu karang di seluruh Indonesia.
Coral reefs are one of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet, home to 25% of ocean species. They cover less than 1% of the Earth's surface, but they protect coastal communities, provide food, and generate billions for fisheries and tourism. But almost half of the world's coral reefs have been lost or severely damaged by climate change, pollution, and overfishing. And scientists say it's continuing to decline at an alarming rate. The team behind the AI study hopes their method and its findings can mitigate that.
Our next plan is to start sending out recorders around the world. So we're looking at Mexico, the Great Barrier Reef, the US Virgin Islands, all kinds of places that we're hoping to work with, where they have their own reef restoration projects going on, and figure out what's working and perhaps where things can be improved.
Working towards global cooperation, the AI health checks that began in Indonesia could lead to better environmental policies, protecting not just the world's oceans, but all life dependent on it. Damon Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of young Palestinians letting off some steam at a skate park in Gaza. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.